Okay, I've got a little something to say about Warrior 2. I must have instructed this posture like maybe a million times, I don't know, definitely a few 100,000. And I've got a mat with some lines on. Some of you have got mats with lines on, and I just want to challenge this cue. Okay, so this might upset you if you like really strong alignment cues. Okay, so you probably heard your yoga teacher say, point this foot that way, right? And then line up heel to arch, back foot turns in. Yeah, I did this for years. The reason I'm addressing this is because I've taught a lot of people on teacher trainings, and I think I gave them bad information, and I feel bad about that now, as I've got older and I've got like stuff going on with my hip. So let's just think about this. Let's be intelligent, right? As you come down, if this hip is pushing forward, if you're pushing out and pushing and pushing and pushing, and this hip comes through, what you've actually got is the feeling of the bone like jamming into the hip, and then you've got this hip going that way, and the teacher's saying, pull this knee out, right? And it's great cues in that one hip's rolling in, one hip's rolling out, ACE. What is it actually doing to the femur head? Bear in mind that the cis-born woman's femur bone is a different shape, and this is a sequence this is a posture that was designed by men when women weren't really allowed to do yoga. So what happens if I come from here? What happens if I just change the angle of this foot slightly? Yeah, and then what happens is instead of pushing this hip forward, I activate the glute and I lift up and just take that leg back a bit. Now I can come down. I'm a little bit skew width. Yes, the teacher might not like it. The teacher might come and say, oh, you've got to go like that. Be the narrow target. Yeah, the essence of the posture. I'm challenging that for longevity. I'm challenging that for hip health. I'm challenging that for my female students who I've seen over the years really benefit from more of this kind of movement. Yeah, so more movement, less rigidity, more circles for the hips. Then we're doing warrior all day long. Switch sides. So once again, I thought that I wanted to address this because I keep talking about it, and it's like someone says, you should tell people that, should. I've taught in a lot of yoga teacher trainings, and I've given people cues that now I've got older, I'll be 48 next birthday, I'm realizing they're not always that helpful. And my biggest teachers over the years are my students. Yeah, so this is based on what I see on the mat and what people tell me over years and years and years of doing lots and lots and lots and lots of yoga. So this idea that we turn this foot out, and you might have heard that cue, make sure you can see your toenail, right? If I do that, in order to get to that, this hip's rotating in, right? So I've had issues with my knees over the years with these very strict male body oriented yoga postures where my knees then gone, I don't like it, right? So I come down like this and my lower back is struggling to bring my shoulders back over my hips. There's a lot of pressure in here, it doesn't feel nice, yeah? So instead of that foot turning out, what if the foot turns on the same angle as my thigh bone? And then there's a little bit of movement here where this hip can move and can go back. And then we've got just a bit more of a feeling of fluidity where we can get all the benefits of the posture. Opening, one hip's rolling in, one hip's rolling out, so there's that lovely juicy twisting thing that we can get. But if we just change the cue ever so slightly to this foot being in the same plane as the thigh, maybe this hip draws back a little bit, now we can come down. Now we lift the toes, now we pull in, push out. Now it's very, very powerful, but there's still enough movement there where I'm not going to wear the cartilage away on my hip, because you know what? Cartilage doesn't grow back.